Another particular trend is the move to the immaterial forms of different kind of content and the rise of different kind of relationship between the audience and the author. Because we have deal actually with a lot of what we call the immaterial services, which provide the informational access to particular persons, goods, etc., such as searching engines, for example. And from this point of view, the importance of advisors or advising role of new gatekeeping role of the organization of content becomes crucial. It means that actually it's not so important to choose the content, and actually any kind of produced content could be put it online, could be made accessible to audience. But the most important is how this content will be organized, how it will be sorted, how it will be classified, and how it will be done searchable. And from this point of view, of course, the importance of the technological companies which are mainly organizing such kind of content in field of searching field, in field of searching engines, in field of social media even, or in field of aggregatory platforms, etc., becomes very important. Another important thing is that the way of distributing content, it's not only the searchable platforms, aggregatory platforms, but also the platforms of social exchange. It means that actually it's not only, we'll say, the purely commercial dynamics of the big companies which are sorting the content, which are making it accessible, but also the social dynamics of the digitally connected people, which is distributing the information, sharing self-producing content, and different other forms of even private life. And from this point of view, we can speak about, we'll say, the double logics, the purely the logics of professional companies, the big companies which are elaborating algorithm of the sorting content, of making it accessible, etc., but also the logics of the social reposting, redistributing, making accessible content in social media. It doesn't mean that these logics have no commercial peculiarities. Of course, the most spreadable via social media, via social networks, content also could be commercialized. The main question is who will be the final beneficiary of this commercialization. But in all cases, the general trend, as we can see, is the transformation of goods into services, because it's not actually just a series or just an episode of one series. It's a kind of permanent service connecting you as audience with a content producer. From this point of view, their relationship of access becomes much more important than the relationship of property, and this issue was covered by American economist Jeremy Rifkin in the book The Age of Access, quite old books right now. So and in this book he's arguing that in a new world the access to the particular good, to the particular service becomes much more important than in the old world was the property on it. Because in the old world the exchange was very simple. The seller and consumer exchanged monies against goods. So seller transferred the property of the particular product to consumer, or of particular good to the consumer, and consumer transferred their money to the seller. In the actual world, we have deal with a permanent connection between provider of service and user, consumer. It means, but the good could remain in the property or direct property of seller. Yeah. So from this point of view, the proliferation of such things as what we call the online movie theaters, it's a good example. On what is online movie theaters? It's something which instead selling you the film, sell you the right to watch this film, for example, for, I don't know, limited number of days, for example. Yeah. So it means that the access fee replaces the good per good payment. And from this point of view, it creates the permanent relationship between user and someone who is the service provider. And of course, make the permanent relationship between user and some technological companies, which usually such kind of providers. Of course, it provoked the reconsideration in field of product classification, in field of cultural industries, and theorists of first cultural industries of the so-called old school of 1970s, 1980s has been obliged to add some particular services, some particular products into classification, especially the what they call the social exchanges. For example, social exchanges such as search engines, social networking sites, etc., all such kind of things for them are social exchanges, and for them it's also a part of the cultural industries realm, because they becomes a very important way to produce and to distribute the cultural products. To produce, because users become a producer and sometimes use social networks in order to produce and organize such kind of content. Distribution, because a lot of content is usually reposted, shared, etc. via networking, media networks, social media networks. In addition to that, they are proposing to add the services of free access into this field, because of the proliferation of the advertising-based model in different fields, even in museum fields, even in commercial television, etc., etc. From this point of view, the classification of products becomes much more larger, and probably we can expect the further growing of the number of types of products or diversification of products in the future.